Oh, well, you can go ahead and get my money back because I can't do nothing with that.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, it's B, it's your girl Kyra B coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 7 and the reunion, or episode 13 in this case. Let's get right into the reunion. Let's get right into it because, yeah, let's just get right into it. There were some questions that needed to be answered. And first and foremost, it was Tyler and Ashley, the whole Tyler and Ashley situation. As we know, on social media, whatever, it came to light that Tyler has kids via a donor. According to him, he was a donor, but then, the mother of the kids came out and said that, Tyler is the father of these kids, like him saying that he, I guess, not taking any responsibility for these kids is like very hurtful, So at the reunion, that's like one of the biggest topics that needs to be addressed. So Tyler basically says, like, yes, he knew the person, like, was a close friend of his. The person that they were with up and left them, so they were like, they're gonna step in and help. They were around because obviously, he wanted to be around, whatever, but he, like, the situation that he's saying, like, yes, he did donated, to become a father of these kids, but that's basically where it is. Like, he was just stepping in to help them out. Like, it's not really his responsibility as he's trying to claim. Also, Ashley's saying that, well, he's also saying that Ashley knew all of this. Like, Ashley's not finding out right now. She knew all of this since Cabo. Or not Cabo, since living together. So with that being said, Ashley's like, oh, you guys on social media think that, like, I don't know about this, and, like, it's like, trying to, like, seem like I don't, like, some, like, trying to lessen my intelligence of, like, not being in a know situations. The thing about it is that what we see on screen is that the conversation where she asked, Tyler point blank, do you know what the kids look like, or does the kids know what you look like? And you basically say you don't know, or maybe. That looks very suspect. So the fact that she came to light and basically said, like, they talked about this privately before that camera situation, and they basically staged that conversation, is that she staged they had a stage conversation, which is like, it's very suspect once again, because I'm just like, why would you stage the conversation? But then again, or if anything, if you're going to stage the conversation, actually tell the truth, or just say, like, what's the case. But they're like, oh, they're staging a conversation so they protect the kids' identities, or protect, like, from things going out from the situation. But you know how these people are. Like, people are gonna be digging, they're gonna be searching, they're gonna be finding things, whatever, and obviously they did find information on this guy, and the whole situation. So it is what it is. But she knows about it. She's riding with Tyler. She's rocking with Tyler. I mean, her mother is also in agreement, standing 10 toes behind Tyler. She's rocking with him. She said she knew about this whole situation, and he's not involved in raising these kids, according to Tyler. So we're just gonna go on the fact that he just helped out his close friend with 3 donor kids, and that's basically it with the Tyler and Ashley situation. Next, we're gonna move on to Hannah and Nick, because that's another big topic. They asked Hannah, like, does she regret anything? Does she think, like, what does she think how she, been betrayed on TV? So she just said, like, she doesn't retract anything, like, everything, she stands by everything she said. She kind of agrees that she should have said something a little bit better, but she's, like, standing 10 toes behind how she treated Nick and how she acted towards Nick. So in this conversation, like, Nick is like, yeah, sure, she's entitled to her, opinion, like, I don't think anything less of what she's gonna say. So Marissa's, like, basically chiming into, like, oh yeah, Nick's bad, But I'm just like, let's talk about what we've seen on TV, because her behavior on TV towards Nick was disaster. everybody trying to jump on Nick and said, oh, because Nick said, you know, according to the guys who basically pillow talked and told their girls, you know, Ramses told Marissa and Steven told Monica that thought, you know, Hannah was the grenade when he first saw her, and that, oh, she was a 5 out of 10. So they're having like this information that, you know, he didn't like her looks when they first met each other. And I guess he revealed that information to the guys. So from then they told their girls, and you know, that was it. But I'm just like, if Hannah knew from jump, since Cabo, since whenever, that Nick had a feeling about her looks, why would you still continue with the whole situation? You know what I'm saying? You know, if you knew from your friends that, you know, Nick had a bad feeling about her looks, rated her 5 out of 10, called her a grenade. Like, you still continued living with him for a good month or 2 months, you know, going through the whole wedding situation. So, and the thing is, how you treated him, you basically degraded him at every chance you got, talked to him like you were scolding your child at every given chance, you know. With that being said, I'm just like, why did we gloss over her 10 bullet point note or list about Nick to say something that we've never heard or seen of Nick telling the guys that she was a grenade and she was a 5 out of 10? And then Hannah basically saying like, oh, she read Nick's diary, and you know, his diary had like a 3-month plan, and his goal was to sell some houses, something else, and that he wanted to be the most famous person off of Love is Blind. So Nick, according to Nick is saying that that's a 3-month plan. He wrote that 3 months prior before getting onto the show, because he didn't even know he was going to be on the show, Hannah just thinks like, you know, him writing that. But I'm just like, if you had information like that he had this journal that said that, you know, he called you out on your looks to the guys and then got back to you somehow, why couldn't we discuss this? Why couldn't we discuss this? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew that from jump, why are we discussing it at the reunion to like add some type of gotcha moment? Like, oh yeah, Nick was really the bad one. Nick was just like, oh, these were my goals prior to coming on the show. The thing is, it does look very suspect for him. Like, why, even if it was 3 months or a year, why would you write that? But I mean, she saw it when they were living together. So with that being said, during the process of being engaged, she saw that, knew that. So did they ever have a conversation about that? Even off screen, like, did they ever have a conversation about that? Like, why are you holding on to that until the reunion to be like, oh yeah, Nick's a poser, da 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 da. Like, we're glossing over the fact that you literally had a 10-page list about him, was already degrading him, all that stuff. Even your brother like was like, yeah, you kind of mean. Like, Marissa's piping up and like, oh yeah, she mean, she direct, da 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 da. But like, yeah, you had her reason about her look. Monica over here talking about how, oh yeah, the reason by his looks, how she like, you know, called her the grenade or whatever. Or that's probably why she's insecure. But I'm just like, why didn't we have conversations about this if this was such an issue? Like, if this was such an issue, there should have been conversations about this from the get-go. Why are we waiting for the reunion as a gotcha moment as how the relationship didn't work out? Because that wasn't the reason the relationship didn't work out. The relationship didn't work out because Hannah was being very degrading towards Nick. And I feel like people failed to realize that that was the whole situation, but they glossed over that and focused on, oh, Hannah's going through Nick's account and realizing that he liked some, you know, tweets that were mean or comments that were mean towards Hannah, and she's over here crying. Like, well, first of all, why are you going through his account? Like, you guys been separated, not together for over a year now, and you're talking about you and your friends are going through his account to see that he likes some mean comments. Like, okay, and like, what are we doing about this? Like, we didn't even discuss all the things that you said about him, especially at the party, you talking to Ashley about what he wouldn't and would do. Like, we were glossing over the whole situation of this relationship. They touched on the whole, you know, her asking Nick about the whole, I forgot, Katie was the girl's name. The whole situation about that, and basically Katie was just like, she didn't even realize, you know, that she hurt Hannah in that situation. You know, she apologized. I think after watching it, she just, you know, didn't realize she hurt Hannah. She just said she called him, you know, attractive twice, and that was it. And, you know, she wasn't trying to make Hannah feel bad. But this whole Nick and Hannah situation, like, you know, even the guys basically were trying to, like, yeah, Nick own up to it, because Steven was like, oh yeah, I did tell Monica this. Ramsey's like, you know, if one moment you're supposed to like own up for something, this is the moment you are supposed to own up to it. But I'm just like, did we watch the same show? Because at the end of the day, Hannah just saying, yeah, I'm direct and I stand on it. Like, okay. Well, Nick had been like, well, yeah, I called you a grenade and I stand on it. Like, okay, and like we want to make Nick feel bad for those, but then Hannah being direct and blunt and very abrasive and, you know, communication towards Nick was some cakewalk. Like, from what we seen, it was like at every end towards the situation, which is bad. But it is what it is, you know. That was their segment. We touched on Marissa and Ramses, and, you know, the situation was like Marissa crying. She's very still heartbroken about the situation. Once again, you know, had to speak up for Marissa, basically just saying, like, you know, once again, I had to, you know, step in and, you know, pick up Marissa after you left her heartbroken, you know. Everybody was on her mother for being blunt, direct, whatever. Kind of like Hannah. But it was coming from a place, like, you knew what type of place she was coming from. It wasn't coming from Hannah's place. Like, it was two different things. Two different types of bluntness and directness. You know what I'm saying? Her bluntness was just like, you know, be cautious with my daughter. You know, don't hurt her, da-da-da-da. You know, are you really prepared to do this, da-da-da-da? Because marriage is really serious, da, da, da. She's been through her ups and downs with relationships, whatever. She's a single mother of 4, you know, raising her kids from the ground up. So, you know how she is. So she's coming from a different place. Hannah's coming from, like, she trying to scold her dude. And I'm just like, your dude is supposed to be on her equal playing field. Like, he not a kid. Like, so different types of things. But anyway, she was just like, yeah, why couldn't you just been upfront about how you felt? Why did you wait till days before the wedding? I think 2 days before the wedding to be like, oh, you know, I can't handle, you know, your energy is very overwhelming. That was his excuse. He was just like, oh, he didn't know until that moment. But then I guess 2 days before, he told Marissa that, yeah, he can't wait to marry her. So I can, like, the thing is that, yeah, you didn't feel, like, you could have said, I'm not sure, I'm uncertain. But the fact that you doubled down and said that you're ready for marriage, that you're, you know, you can't wait to marry her, and then turn around and say, like, no, I can't deal with this, da-da-da-da, that's where it flips-flops. You know, that's where it's like, whatever. Anyway, Marissa's, like, heartbroken, still crying about the situation. She's like, oh, she didn't really get a say in the relationship. He just felt like, you know, he's done, he's over with, da-da-da-da. And, you know, basically broke up with her. The mother's like, yeah, it's for the best. Like, it was for the best. Like, you know, it is what it is. Monica and Steven. Talk about with Monica and Steven. And the thing is that Monica, during the show, she called the guy and basically tried to hash it out and had a conversation with him. So even after the fact that, you know, they ended things, whatever, she reached out to him and smoothed everything over, no bad feelings. Then we learned at the reunion, she basically went to dinner with this guy. So he went to dinner, hash it out, whatever. Steven said that he wrote a letter to the parents apologizing. He apologizes to her, whatever, He goes to therapy, he stopped talking to the girl, whatever, I mean, he apologized, they're over, It's been over a year. You know, they had their dinner, their, you know, conversation on the phone, whatever. But it seems like Monica's still like up in her feelings. Like the thing about it is, some of this reunion, some of these people have not seen each other since their breakup, so you can understand why there's a lot of animosity and a lot of hurt. But Monica, you've seen this guy, you talked to this guy, you hash things out over the phone or in person, and spoken to this guy. So I'm confused why you're still feeling like he did you dirty. Like according to him, he said that he entertain a very inappropriate conversation about asking, you know, this girl about her, you know, weird interest. So with that being said, you know, and he was talking to her and entertaining the situation where he was not supposed to, and she found those messages, and that's why she was very angry about the whole situation. Granted, because what he was doing was inappropriate, and like she said, it was emotional cheating. So there's that. At the end of the day, it's been over a year. He apologized, whatnot, and so forth. The guy said, "What more do you want me to do? Like, what more do you want me to do?" Like, he wasn't trying to hide it from her or whatever. You know, he just didn't delete it. And, I mean, he wasn't supposed to entertain it in the first place, to be honest. But he just like, is anybody going to listen to me? Or is anyone going to hear my side? Like, what do you really want from me? Like, I already apologized, whatever. He said that he, like, wrote a letter, and as soon as he said that, like, Mom's like, "Oh, I knew you were gonna use that at a reunion. I knew you. I'm just like, Monica, you need to chill out. Like, Steven did you 30, but, like, at least he is taking accountability and not, like, sugarcoating it. Okay? Like, and you spoken to this man. You went to dinner after this whole situation with this man. Okay? You corrected him and said it wasn't a date, it was a dinner. I'm just like, even after he did you dirty and he's still having some problems, like, we know, we've seen it. But according to the guy, what else do you want him to do? Do you want to continue a relationship with him or what? Like, or why are you still mad? Anyways, continuing on, we got this Alex and Tim situation. Tim, he wasn't really trying to rehash anything. He was just trying to say his piece. But then Alex was like, "Yeah, no." She's like, "Oh, he played in her father's face, da da da. Like, how could you read that letter to her father, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, you know, you're over the relationship, whatever, and I guess don't want to work it out or stuff like that." It was like I said previously, it was very known that he was checked out after that argument. No one's seen the argument, but according to them, she wanted her space after the little party in Cabo, and I guess she was feeling down about her father, whatever. And after the party in Cabo, she wanted her space. She just wanted to be left alone for a bit, but I think she was crying or whatever. So, according to Alex, she said that I guess Tim wanted to know why, whatever, and I guess how he was speaking was very loud. So they were in the bathroom, and you know, I guess to calm him down or not to like let his voice carry or be loud, she put his hand over his mouth, so the producers won't come in and like start recording their conversation or their argument. So she was just trying to like, I guess, protect him in her way of putting his hand over the mouth. So he felt disrespected by that, but you know, it was really the name calling that he felt disrespected by, because you know, Alex called him a B. So with that being said, you know, he did not like that. But that was the reason why, you know, they had an argument, because I guess she wanted space. He didn't know why, but he just wanted to be there for her and comfort her. And I guess she wasn't letting him. So with that being said, I guess it turned into an escalation, and then he got called out his name. And that's like, yeah, he checked out. But then I guess he still kind of like decided to, you know, work on the relationship, whatever. After that, I guess with Tim's side of things, because based on the show, like, you know, how Tim needs to work on his communication, for one. That's point blank. He needs to work on his communication. But I think what happened, what went wrong, or what was the final straw was that Tim went all out for Alex and her parents. She went all out for them. You know? So when it came to his parents and being, getting meted and greeted or whatever, Alex kind of did the bare minimum. She showed up and spoke for the 4 to 5 hours, as she said. That's it. She did the bare minimum. She didn't really host them, didn't really, gave them anything, cook food for them, whatever. Like, take out. Like, they didn't even have a meal. They were just talking. That was it. It wasn't like, oh, order this for them to, like, sit down and eat. We can chat, we can talk a little bit, whatever. There was none of that. It was just she showed up, and I guess she spoke for 4 or 5 hours, and then she took a nap before she had to go to another job. And I guess with that being said, Tim felt like she didn't put in no effort to meeting his family, and family is very important to him. So they had to work on communication. That's for both of them. They really do. Because the communication in that relationship was just like little to none. I guess Alex said that before meeting his family, I guess they had a conversation. And in the conversation, he told her that he's having doubts. And this was after, he met Alex's family. So she's like, oh, how could you meet my family and still have doubts? I mean, it just is what it is. He was very honest with it. He had doubts. He just proposed. He already proposed to you in the pods. He was just basically asking your father's hand for a blessing, and that was it. You're saying, how could he host your family? What did he want him to do? Did he want him to call it off right there because he had doubts? Because I'm confused, Alex. Because he had doubts, you're upset, and you're like, oh, how could he do that and still have doubts? I mean, he voiced those doubts to you. It's not like he learned on the day of. He voiced those to you and still decided that he wanted you to meet his family. You know what I'm saying? He voiced those to you and still decided, oh yeah, I still want you to meet my family, whatever. So, confused how that was like, oh, you're getting mad at him for that. I just feel like he needs to work on his communication, but you also do need to. And the thing is, in this situation, is still leaning towards Tim as like, you kind of did him dirty with that whole family meeting. Like, granted, yeah, you took your nap, didn't do the dishes, whatever, because you had no other job opportunities to do, but you didn't even like treated or hosted his family at all. So what could we really do about that? I mean, Tim just like, they were going back and forth, and Vanessa kind of like stopped it. And I feel like Vanessa should have let them continue speaking, because we probably would have got to like some type of resolution or type of like middle ground there. But her stopping it, and then Tim was just like, yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk ever again. Like, Tim didn't want to see her ever again. I mean, he came to a reunion, sure, but he said after this, he don't have to speak to her ever again. So, like, them stopping the conversation to say, oh, maybe we should speak in private. He don't want to speak to her in private, so it is what it is. They brought Brittany and Leo out, and, I guess Brittany had, what's her name's back, Alex is back, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, he don't care for that relationship any longer. He's not trying to rehash that relationship. He's just trying to say his piece and be done. I mean, I don't see any type of reconciliation. Brittany and Leo, their situation is that according to them and the producers, is that because Brittany never told Leo that she loved him, the producer is like, yeah, no, it's great that you guys got engaged, but we are taking serious couples, and you guys are not one of them. So they were like, yeah, you're not going to Cabo. So Brittany and Leo already had a plan to go to Miami, and that's what they did. But they realized, yeah, no, it's just really much friends for them. Like, and they are friends. They've been speaking together, every day. Leo said they talk for at least an hour a day, Brittany has a significant other, at this point in time, so it seems like Leo, he realized the error of his ways when he was in the pods. So, you know, it was interesting to see that. But according to them and the producers, they didn't take them serious as a couple. And I guess it was for the best, because we didn't either. So there is that. We talk about all the couples, and I think Taylor and Garrett is the last couple. They're going strong. They're probably like the best couple out of the whole cast this season. You know, Taylor's mother and father in the audience, you know, they were thinking about going to San Diego, but him being so far away from his family is kind of like, So they kind of went to a middle ground, and they're like looking for places in DC to live now. So that's good, you know, a little bit of city life, pretty close to Virginia. Because I'm just like, they're saying DC, and I'm like, nah, like this was not really DC. This was very much DMV or Virginia mostly. And that was basically it for the cast. Seems like, you know, Garrett, Tyler, and Tim, you know, they still boys. They hang out with everybody. I guess most of the guys at the cast, most of the girls hang out with most of each other of the cast. So, you know, they saw those three, you know, going fishing. You know, the girls had girls trips, whatnot, and so forth. In the audience, we had AD. AD said that she's dating somebody, but she's keeping it on the private. Okay. She is basically happy that, you know, she's on the receipt, you know, on the other end of you know, the reunion, and she's not in the reunion. You know, we see Marshall, we see Bliss and Zach with their, you know, they have their child. Jessica from season 1, she's married with a son. And then we also, at the end of the you know, reunion, see that Vanessa, you know, says that season 8 is filmed in Minnesota, and they already got the cast members, some of the cast members in the audience. So yeah, they already got that show filmed, ready to go for next year, February. Okay, so another season 8 of Love Is Blind coming to you next year, February. But yeah, that was Reunion. Reunion was pretty mid. Nothing really. The only thing that really got answered was Tyler and Ashley situation, but I think everybody kind of knew that, you know, Tyler and Ashley was gonna still ride for Tyler. So, like, not surprised here nor there about the whole situation, whether he was wrong or right in any situation. But according to them, they know, she knows about everything. She was in the know from the get-go. She's like, does social media or me know more? And she said that she know more, so we're gonna just let her have it. She, you know, they got it. This is their relationship. You know, he's like, what if Ashley's still on my side? Like, we're still rocking, we're still cool. And I mean, at the end of the day, what could we say? If she's still rocking in that relationship and she happy and content, what could we do? Rocking, they still going good. Everybody had a little bit of glow up of a sort. And yeah, Ramses, he talking about how, you know, he want to clear up the whole protection situation. He didn't want to force Marissa into the situation that if she didn't want to do it. I mean, you know, good for him for trying to clear that up, because he looked very weird for that. But other than that, that was season 7 reunion. That season kind of was just kind of like a bit dud, but you know, it is what it is. We made it through another Love Is Blind season, and see you in, you know, with the winter time for the next season of Love Is Blind. But anyway, guys, if you guys like the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. You know, subscribe to my channel, anything you guys watching this video. Peace.